This episode is with Vanessa Gonzalez from Harvestin Prep. Vanessa is a really close friend of mine. We actually met about a year ago at an event where I was sponsoring my company. She was sponsoring her company, and we just kind of got to talking a little bit, and we had a lot of the same kind of goals and passions and interests and stuff. And so she's just a really great person, and she's a great fit for what I'm trying to do with Powerful One. And again, the goal with Powerful One is getting people who are very powerful in what they do. They found something that they love, that they enjoy, and they want to share that power and share that passion with other people. And so she's perfect for what I'm trying to do with the Powerful One podcast. And so this episode, it's really just a conversational based kind of flow. And it's really good. We talk about everything from health to nutrition to the pandemic that's going on and her company and whatnot, and how she's dealing with this from a personal standpoint and with her company. So yeah, guys, really great episode. Me and my family have been supporting Vanessa and her meal prep service for a while. It's incredible. Please check her out if you haven't already. I will link up all the website, her profile, everything like that. But yeah, I hope you guys really enjoy the episode. Here it is, guys, episode 16 with Vanessa Gonzalez. Enjoy. All right, episode 15, Powerful One podcast. Special guest Vanessa Gonzalez, the second two-time guest. So yeah, I just wanted to bring Vanessa on. We're really good friends. We're really close. So there's just a lot going on right now, and I feel like there's a lot of value that we can maybe provide for people. Just kind of have a conversation and that sort of thing. So what's up, Vanessa? How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm surviving just like everybody else, getting through.
Yeah, and so guys, if you're not familiar, and I'll plug this a little bit in the intro, but Vanessa has a meal prep, a vegan meal prep service company. And so she is doing meals still through this time. So I would encourage people to like support local and help her out. My family, we've been buying every week, and they've got tons of awesome stuff. So yeah, check it out. But yeah, let's see, Vanessa. So what have you been doing during quarantine? I mean, what have you been doing to stay busy?
Well, I have 3 kids, so super busy. I feel like it's weird not being able to go and do anything. Like you would think that you would have a lot of downtime, but I feel like I'm busier than I've ever been before.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just like being in the house, having to clean up all day, cook all day. I still have to run errands, constantly, as much as I know people don't like to hear that, but I still got to leave the house to do things that I got to do to buy stuff for us. Yeah. But really just staying busy with that. I finally got into a gym recently, so I've been going every morning at like 6:30. So yeah, just staying busy around the house and going to the gym.
Yeah, so
it's pretty much what I used to do.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
No, I hear you. Yeah, so Vanessa unfortunately had to shut down for a week, which was a bummer. Yeah. So like talk about just like the impact it's had on your business and like your life, just a quarantine and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, it's tough because we were starting to steadily grow really well like we were the year prior, and we were getting excited about that. We were getting a ton of new followers, a ton of new inquiries. And we had put up a Google ad, so we were getting a ton of people from that. But then this happened, and our orders got cut in half. So we kept pushing through. We were like, as long as, we got people ordering, we're going to keep cooking. And then it just became too hard to buy all the food and spend, 12 hours in the kitchen and just for very little take home. So we ended up taking a break. We were supposed to do 2 weeks, but we did 1 week, which was great because we had so much support, yourself and your family included, wanting us to come back and support us and not wanting to see us fail during this time like so many other businesses unfortunately are. So we're back this week in the kitchen. We'll be in there tomorrow, me and my partner Steph, and we're just happy that people are still ordering food and want to keep taking care of themselves and keep eating healthy food.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, what's been for you the most difficult part about this? Like personally, whether it's just like seeing things that are going on, or just from a business standpoint for Harvestin Prep. I mean, what's been really tough for you to
kind of grasp during this time, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because in the beginning, like the first week or so before this shelter in place and all of that, like I was good. I think everybody was just kind of like, okay, we'll just do this and it'll be over soon. And then kept getting stricter and we kept having less and less freedoms in our day. And it was like maybe week 2 that I just hit a wall and I was like anxiety driven. And I'm not somebody that typically has anxiety, but I felt this like pressure on my chest, and I had my kids asking me, you know, when things were going to go back to normal and telling me they can't sleep at night, and hearing friends that don't have jobs and then hearing that their spouses also lost their jobs. So that's a whole family without income. And I just felt I was fine because I'm fortunate that my husband was able to continue working. I was able to make a few meals to bring in some more income. Yeah, I lost my position at the salon that I was still at once a week, but we were okay. But hearing so many people that weren't okay, that really bothered me. And I just hit a wall. And I remember just wanting to just break down and cry. And I just like went outside with my dog one night and I just let go because I'd been holding it in. Because I was trying to be strong for everybody around me,
Right.
because that's what strong people do. We just like keep moving and keep going forward, and we don't really cry or show any emotion. We just say it's going to be okay. And then it just all hit me, and I just had to let it go. And I started going for crazy long 4-mile walks in the morning for like 3 days because I just needed to like get out and just be alone in nature by myself. I did it in the morning when my kids were sleeping at like 7 a.m. And a couple of days of that, it shook off of me. And now I'm just kind of rolling with the waves, and whatever happens, happens. I let it go. You know, I can't let it consume me because I have no control, and I can't try to control everything, and neither can anybody else. So at this time, business, personal, whatever it is, I'm just going with it at this point.
Yeah, I love that. I was gonna ask you what's been like your saving grace to keep you sane. So I guess has it been like those walks and just kind of realizing that you can only control what you can control?
Yeah, it was the walks initially in the beginning because that's what I did in the morning. I would get up, I'd throw on a podcast or music, or sometimes just nothing and just be with my thoughts. And then I was very fortunate that a close friend of mine actually put a gym in a storage facility, and he was like, Vanessa, go ahead, use it. And so I'm in there with the weights now again, and that's been awesome because that's the best way to start your day is by doing something good for yourself.
Yeah.
So I mean that, and obviously my family, I have to be strong for them. Like, and again, I don't have it as bad as a lot of people. So for me to sit and mope around and say poor me or whatever when a lot of people are struggling way worse than I am just doesn't make sense. So I had to keep moving on.
Yeah, that's kind of what I, was doing at first. I remember like being so bummed about the gyms and I'm not working, and I had like the two things I've been looking forward to for like a year get canceled. But at the end of the day, like there's such bigger problems and people who have to deal with a lot more than, like what personally, like what I'm going through. And even though it's hard, like just keeping a good perspective and realizing that like it'll work out, at least for me, and just like keeping that perspective I think is important. And I know it's obviously a lot harder in your shoes when you got kids that are home and it's like you still need you time and that sort of thing. So I'm glad you're making it work. So you guys are back up and rolling with Harvestin. You got the meals back going again. So how's the process been now that you guys are back and running again, just through the company?
Well, this week's the first week we're taking orders because we took the week off last week, and we actually had a pretty good turnout of people.
Nice.
I got 3 new customers this week that have never ordered before. I've gotten emails from people who are interested. So I think because it's tough for my business, because it's a luxury to have somebody cook your food.
Yeah.
It is. So especially when you're home and you're able to cook. So it's not like we're, a small business where you can just quick grab something and go home. Like, we're cooking food for you for the week, and now that people are home, they're able to do that for themselves. So we're kind of a luxury business right now. So I was surprised and super happy that we got the orders that we did. And, you know, even though it's not where we were before, I'm going to just keep cooking food for people as long as they want me to, and just keep looking to grow and learn as much as I can while it's a little bit quieter.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool to see because people all the time have been talking about like all the negative stuff they've seen, like people hogging toilet paper and all that stuff. But like like what I've seen is more people coming together, because I feel like I put myself in a situation to like see that stuff. So it's like whether it's the people I'm interacting with online, like the grocery stores I go to, like go to Trader Joe's, the people are nice. Like you'll only see good people. Like maybe you're going to the wrong grocery stores, or maybe you have people around you if you're only like fixated on the negative. So that's why I think it's cool, like people coming together. I mean, just the fact that you were going to close down for 2 weeks and only close down for 1 week just shows that people are coming together and helping support and as much as they can. So that's really good. But I know we were talking about this before, just about the kind of like I almost like I guess like the hypocriticism like that's been going on with this kind of health thing. Do you want to talk about that at all? I mean, we both kind of have opinions on it. And look, everybody who's listening to this podcast knows what we're about. So if you want to, I mean, talk about that, or I can talk about it, or.
No, I mean, I'll talk about it. It's, so first of all, some people don't know me that well. They only know me from Instagram. And I have always been a very tough, hard as nails person. And I tell it like it is, but at the other end of that, I'm extremely compassionate, and I want to hear what you're feeling. I care about how you're feeling, but I'm also not one that's going to say it's okay that you're making up excuses for your behavior. I mean, I've been called out plenty of times for things that I've done, and I own it, and I say, I'm sorry, you're right, or I don't know how to fix it, or can you help me fix it? Or, I mean, at this day and age, like, I just think that there's no reason for anybody to not know or want to take care of their health. I think it's just all excuses. I mean, it comes down to money, everything down to, you know, having a low income. There's no more excuses for that. There's plenty of food items that are readily available, that are cheap. Yeah, maybe you can't get organic, but can you get oats? Can you get rice? Can you get beans? Can you get vegetables that are in season, that are on sale? Can you, I mean, yes, you can. Can you make a healthy meal if you're not good at cooking? Absolutely you can. There's websites all over the place that have easy recipes. Can you cook a meal when you're crazy busy and have tons of kids at home? I do it all the time, and I own a business, and I work out. And I mean, I'm not superhuman, and I'm not saying everybody has to be like me, but stop with the excuses. Nobody cares anymore. If you can get on Instagram and know exactly how Kim Kardashian is doing her makeup down to the T, then you should know how to take care of yourself. And I can be nice about it, and I can help people, and I want to help people, and I'm all for it. You know, I've helped people a ton of times, messaging them simple ways to make changes at home, but I'm not going to just say, oh, poor you don't know how to eat well, when, you know, there's just way too many resources and things out there to help you live a better, healthier lifestyle. Not to look a certain way, not to fit in a bikini. That's bullshit. It's in order to live a long, healthy life for yourself. If you have a family, for your family. I mean, too many people are dying of heart attacks in their 50s, and that's preventable. And, you know, like you said, there's a pandemic and everybody wants to wear masks and hand sanitizer and gloves, and the government wants to talk about it 24/7, and the news does. But when this is all over, nobody's going to talk to you about, there's not going to be news briefings every day at 5 o'clock talking about heart disease and cancer, and there's not. So you have to take it into your own hands.
Yeah.
That was my brain.
No, that's good. I just feel like, to me, that it's not like, and I've heard people say like it's like that's judgment, but it's not a form of, it's not judging. Like it's not that we're judging people. It's that like we're seeing a reality that's present in the world, and like it's no secret like that heart disease and all these diseases and illnesses are coming from health. It's just all from
Right.
health. mostly related to food and sedentary lifestyle. So it's not like, and it's from a place of passion. It's because we care. It's not because we're just trying to judge you like, oh, be more like me. It's genuinely from a place of compassion and love, because we see so much of it, like, and it's bad, and it's just like, we just want it to change for people, not trying to bring people down and say like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? It's to help people ultimately.
No, if you choose that lifestyle and you're saying, hey, I just don't care, that's I can't say anything to you.
Yeah.
But if you're going to say, oh, poor me, I wish I was in shape. Oh, I wish I felt better. Oh, I can't even go up the stairs without getting winded. But then you go through that drive-through and order that. Those are the people I'm talking to. And I'm not judging anybody for being overweight. I'm not judging anybody for not wanting to look like they're the fittest person in the world. My issues are with the people who talk about wanting to be healthy for years and then don't do anything about it because they say they don't know, even though there's just way too much knowledge. Those are the people that I'm talking to, and I'm not perfect. My kids aren't perfect. I buy them junk food, but it's not our whole diet. It's more of a treat here and there, it's just frustrating. Like, I started doing a few Instacart deliveries, just because I had to, and it is what it is. You do what you can. And I've done 7 so far, and all 7 have blown my mind with what they've chose. People are still buying bologna and corned beef hash in a can. And I mean, the stuff that I'm buying for everybody, like I said, 100% of the people I've shopped for so far, so that's all 7, have bought crap food, but they're not going out shopping because they don't want to get sick. Right. So it makes no sense. And I feel bad for them. I do. And I sound tough and I sound like I'm being harsh, but I just feel bad because they're probably on tons of medication. If they're not already, they're gonna be. And I just know that probably there's a lot of people around them that care about how they're doing and how they're feeling and how long they're gonna live. And unfortunately, they may be eating the same stuff because they're in the house with the same, lifestyle.
Yeah, and that's the thing that's really like crazy is when you go to the grocery stores and you see all the stuff that's completely wiped out. It's none of the good stuff. If you want to go get, and it's good and bad. Like, it's good for me because that means there's tons of healthy food, but it's unfortunate because that means that people are consuming those foods.
Right.
And at this point, it's like the information's out there, but it's just that idea of like the kind of being a hypocrite that's really bothering me, that people are like people are yelling at you for not wearing a mask that doesn't really do shit, that like I'm still like far away, I'm like still far away from you anyway. And it's like people are getting mad about that, yet you look at their shopping cart, or you look at, maybe they're like taking their mask off to smoke. It's just people who are doing
right. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, it's like they're thinking they're doing the right thing and like saving all these lives, but it's like they're endangering themselves, all the people around them with all the food they eat. And that's one of the sad things is like you were saying, people, and I know this, but most of your like, you talk about like genetic predisposition to any type of illnesses, diseases, stuff like that. Like the percentage of material basically in our body that is from like diseases and stuff that's genetic is like a very small makeup. And so like the reason that people use that as an excuse all the time. Oh, you good? Yeah.
Sorry.
Like, oh, like it's in my family. The truth is that you can shut those markers off super easily. If you have different cancers in your family, different diseases that are running in your family, the reason that those end up being like your result is because you eat the same way that your parents ate, and then your kids eat the same way that you're eating. And so nothing ever changes. But the truth is, those are so easy to shut off those markers. And the
science is there. We're not doctors, but I mean, it's been written over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, so that's what's like sad, is just like it's just generational stuff. But people think it's like, oh, my dad had diabetes, so I have diabetes. That's not how it works. Like, people would be surprised. And so I think just a lot of that, like, like almost ignorance of like not wanting to be able to interpret the information, or whether it's like, you know, the information, but you're just choosing to, like you said, make an excuse for it. Is a little upsetting to see.
Well, that too, and like speaking of, the hypocrites, is like my other biggest pet peeve is parents that I see that are working out all the time, buying good food. They got their protein bars and they're drinking water, but then in the cart they have all the kids' snacks, and
Yeah.
their kids are overweight. And I'm like, how can you put your health before your children's? Like, again, my kids aren't perfect. They eat pizza, they eat chips, but you know what? When I buy snacks, it's pretzels, it's popcorn, it's the occasional junk food. But, and again, nobody has to be like me, but how dare I wake up and go to the gym every day and preach about health and then feed my kids Little Debbie's? I mean, that's crazy to me. And I see it all the time.
Yeah.
People, you know, doing Pilates and yoga and running and then feeding their kids crap. And I'm like, come on, I know eventually they're going to learn to catch on from watching you, but at what point do you say enough is enough? Like, I'm not going to buy this anymore, because as a parent, you buy that food. You buy it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's crazy. Like the other day, literally, I saw a mom walking with her daughter, and the mom had a mask and the daughter didn't. And I'm just like,
right.
like, what is that? Like, what are you showing to your, like, it's crazy. But
And now is when you should be taking care of your immune system. If you really want to be healthy, take a break from the junk for now, at least. And
yeah,
like, you know, get tons of vitamin C and try to boost your immune system so that it gives you a better chance. I'm not saying I'm not susceptible to coronavirus. I have every bit of chance of getting it like anybody else. But I'm going to give my body an opportunity to fight it by feeding it good foods. And if it works, amazing. But I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that my body's prepared for whatever comes its way.
yep, yeah. What's like, I mean, I'm sure you have people messaging you all the time and stuff. What's like the question you've gotten asked the most, or what's like the common thing that you're seeing from people, or they're asking you, whether it's like questions about health, fitness, nutrition, like what do you see most often?
I would say a lot of the times I get questions like, I want to go vegan, but I don't know where to start. That I get a lot of that. And again, going back to what you said, vegans are unhealthy too. So I'm not here to praise vegans or put them on a very unhealthy. So it goes both ways. I'm not judging any one diet versus the other. It's all a matter of, it's all relative. So, but a lot of the times I get, how do I go vegan? How do I incorporate more vegetables? Things like that. But again, it's sad. I love those questions and I love answering those questions, and I'll always answer those questions. But a lot of the times they're from adults who know that just as quickly as I can give them an answer, which may even take me a few hours, they can find it online. You know what I mean? It's just, again, I'm here to do it. I'm happy to do it, but I'm always surprised at how many people don't, lost you. How many people don't know, the answers to these questions at this day and age.
Yeah, there's really like no excuse. I mean, we're in the information age. You can research anything. And that's one of the sad things too, is like the truth is, and I talked about this in my last podcast, but if you search the answer or search a question that you're looking for that answer, you can find that answer. It's
Right.
just like, and so that's why, looking into stuff more. Don't just type in "are nuts healthy" on, and then if the first thing says yes, just, yeah, they're good, like whatever the case is. That's just an example, but like you gotta like look into stuff more. I mean, don't just take the first article as the word of God. The truth is, those people are probably paying to have that be the first article. So I don't know. I mean,
I always scroll all the way down and go to the second page. Like there's no, like, you can't believe everything that's on the internet. You shouldn't even, like I said in the last podcast, believe everything I say. Research what I say, or, I mean, it's just crazy to me. Again, like I said, that people will invest their time in other things that aren't as important, because health is your greatest asset. Without it, you have absolutely nothing. You have no money, you have no friends, you have no followers, you don't have those fancy clothes. Without your health, you're worthless.
Yeah.
you're absolutely worthless to this world, to yourself, so why that isn't number one priority, I'm still trying to figure it out. And I don't want to sound like a jerk, and I don't want to sound, I'm perplexed by it to this day, that I still just see people eating the way they do, and then asking the questions as to
Yeah.
how do I do it.
Right.
Like, the first step is don't buy it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's simple. It's a simple formula.
Right. Right. What do you feel like you've learned the most from this quarantine experience that you maybe didn't have a good understanding of before? Just whether it's health, life, like what do you feel as though have learned a lot from this that you'll be able to take back into just regular everyday life when this is over?
Um, One, like I said, that as humans, we want to control everything. And so I think letting go of control
Yeah.
is one. Um, Second one would be learning to um, to do as I'm told, because I'm still struggling with that, because I can't stay home to save my life.
Um,
Even if I just go, I wear a mask and I wear the hand sanitizer and everything, but that's something I'm still struggling with, because I have a really hard time sitting still.
mm,
So I'm trying to find ways to vent my energy instead of having to constantly be out of the house. Um, and I've learned too is just to not look at like the poor me aspect, and just kind of thinking of other people and how I can help other people, which, as you know, that's always been important to me. It's always been one of my number one goals, is to help as many people as possible. It's why I basically work for free at this point. But I think just being more compassionate to people.
yeah. Yeah, I think that's one of the things, like going to the second thing you said, that's hard for people to understand who maybe have an easier time staying at home, is the fact that, like, I mean, we're social beings, and so for a lot of us who are so
It's
used,
in my nature. It's hard.
yeah, like that's why, I feel bad, and I think about all the people who are gonna, all the people we're gonna lose from deaths
Yeah.
from staying in the house, whether it's like just committing suicide, of depression, boredom, like those are like anxiety, those are real issues that unfortunately are going to be swept under the rug in the grand scheme of all this corona stuff. But domestic violence, stuff like that, just
Oh, that one too. Like, all the people who are in terrible home situations that are forced to be home. Like, nobody thinks of that, but like all these kids that their escape is school, and now they're at home constantly with, just in a terrible situation. I thought of them immediately. That's really hard, because like that's your escape. Like, they go there for food, and I know a lot of the schools here are giving out free food and stuff, but when you got to go home and be told that you're worthless all day long, that really hurts.
yeah. So what are some other things that you've been like super passionate about that you want to talk about, whether it's with your business or whether it's just everyday life stuff with the quarantine, anything like that?
Passionate about, and again, because like you said, we're social beings. So I think for me, it's really hard to connect through the phone, even though, on Instagram, I'm on there posting a lot and everything. But like, I like to be out and seeing people. Like yesterday, I was at the store with my daughter, and I was talking to everybody else as I was walking through. And I'm not somebody who, it's weird. I like to talk to people, but I like to have my alone time and quarantine myself with my own thoughts.
Yeah, yeah.
But like yesterday, I was just in a good mood. They had great music at the grocery store, and it just kind of, you could tell everybody was just like in a good mood.
Yeah.
And my daughter, who's 5, she's like, "Mom, you're like this is your great moment." And she's 5. I was like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "Because you're getting to talk to everybody like you like." And I thought that was so funny that she picked up on that. And I don't know. I'm passionate about just trying to reconnect with family and friends, and getting to do these things with people like you, and showing my kids, like, being American children, they have got it so easy. I mean, they are struggling because they have to do some Zoom classes, and they are struggling because they're bored at home, but they're surrounded with tons of luxuries. You know, like trying to teach them that, like, yeah, you got to stay home, but your home is pretty amazing. And, you know, we don't have a ton of stuff. I don't have a huge house and I don't have fancy things, but they're not hurting. That's for damn sure. And I think that that's been really good for them to learn that, you know, their so-called struggles of this quarantine are not so bad. So that's been a great teaching moment for me, like hearing them complain and then getting to teach them things like that. Passionate about, I'm just like everybody else. I'm finally getting everything done that I've been saying I'm gonna get done. Like, you know, anything from working on Harvestin prep to just odd ends around the house. I've painted like 3 rooms in my house. I've like, so like, I think just learning to not put things on the back burner and just do it. It takes no time once you kind of finally commit to it.
Yeah. What's so like going off of what you had just said, what's been like the coolest part about having because you have 3 girls, what's been like the coolest part about being around them more and being able to like see them? Like what's been the best kind of family thing that you've had that you've been able to witness?
I mean, even this morning I have a 5, a 10, and a 12-year-old, and I can't remember the last time they all sat and played pretend. And they all 3 had the Barbies out, and they just played for hours on end, and it was like amazing. And my little one loved it because her big sisters are too cool, and they don't usually do that stuff with them, or they're off with soccer, or they're off with other sports, and they're just not home. And so just seeing them connect and have fun has been really rewarding, and it's given me a break because I don't have to be her constant go-to for playtime. So that's nice. But I think, again, just watching them play together more has been really nice, and, you know, getting off their devices and just enjoying each other.
Yeah, I feel like that's definitely been a really awesome part, is just being able to be with family more, and that's one thing I'd encourage people to do. Like I know it's easier for me to say, like granted, like I'm not working right now. Like I said, I had a lot of big plans canceled, but just trying to see the positives and everything. And like I said, that might be really hard for some people, but I feel like just keeping that perspective is the difference between being sane and driving yourself crazy in quarantine. So I'd encourage people to like take that, like at the very least, you know, you'll have a better maybe relationship with your kids or with your spouse or something like that, and just like take some time to really just think about like what has been a positive from this experience. Like maybe there's 8 negatives, and maybe yeah, like that really sucks. Like it's really hard for some people, but like if you can take 2 positives out of this and maybe have them outweigh the negatives, like that shit's powerful. So yeah.
Right. Well, that's the thing. That's where I had told you before how it's like really hard because I'm like a annoyingly positive person. Like anytime something negative comes my way, I'm like, but when this is over, we're all going to learn so much. Or, but when this is over, this is going to be great. Oh, you lost your job. Maybe that wasn't the job for you. You're going to find something. Don't quit. It's going to come. And I have people looking at me like, Vanessa, I can't pay my bills. I don't have food. Like, what the hell are you talking about? No, I don't want to hear. And I'm like, you're right. I should probably tone it down and listen to you versus throwing my positivity at you, because there's a time and a place for everything. And some people are really hurting, and some people are really struggling to see the light. That, you know, hear me, you know, with a husband that's still working and still have a pantry full of food telling you, hey, everything's okay. That's really easy for me to do right now. And if I was in that situation, I would want somebody to tell me the same thing. I wouldn't want somebody to say, oh yeah, that sucks, or, you know, you're never going to get out of this. I would want some positivity, but I would also want to be heard. Yes. And to be seen and to be understood, because, you know, other than our health, unfortunately, money is incredibly important if you want to be able to feed yourself, your family, keep a roof over your head. So, you know, as much as I try to be super uber positive, I also am trying to be really understanding and compassionate to people who don't want to hear my shit right now and just want to hear, yeah, that sucks. It's going to be okay. Yeah. You know? So, yeah, positivity is great. It's gotten me really far in life. Like, you know, I'm not somebody who came from an amazing situation as a kid. I've gone through a lot. I've been through a lot. And I think that that's why I am the way I am. And I'm so tough. And I just don't really have room to look backwards. I only go forwards. But I have to remember not everybody's like me.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things I'm working on. And that's, like I said, some of our strengths are our weaknesses. Like my strength is that I'm a go-getter. I don't quit. I won't be told no. And I don't really dwell in darkness. But not everybody's like me, and not everybody wants to be like me. And I have to understand that. So definitely working on that and trying to learn that.
Yeah, I think that whole idea of like seeking to understand before being understood is very powerful. Like just trying to gather from somebody else's perspective and that sort of thing. And I forget the second piece that I was going to say off that. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we all have like different truths of this and different realities, but like there's never no hope, you know, like it doesn't matter how bad your situation is. I just feel like it's good to have people spreading the positivity, because the truth is like, and I see this all the time, and I'm like pretty positive. Like I try to always be positive, but when I do spread that positivity, it's like, yeah, some people may get sick of it and be like, you're way too positive, and that's fine. But like the truth is that a lot of people are really like, hey man, I needed to hear this right now. And so I'm not going to stop being me just because it's a really tough time. And like I said, the truth is like, I have to understand before I can be understood, and understand that there's tough situations. But I think there's a lot to be said for like who you are and who I am, and still being able to be ourselves and spread our energy during this time.
I think that you can be positive. I think positivity is always welcome. I think it's a matter of sometimes positivity for people who are hurting comes across as them not being heard for their pain that they're in, as if it's not being looked at as being serious, because you're saying, oh, it'll be fine. You know what I mean? Where that's not where our hearts are coming from. We're trying to give that boost of morale and say, you know, because again, like you said, my belief is like, you know, I told my husband in the beginning, because he wasn't sure if he was going to keep working. I didn't know what was going to happen with me. I was like, I said, what? Worst case? Worst case? We lose our home. We're in an apartment. Worst case, we have to get assistance from the government. You know, that's worst case. But you know what? Even those worst cases, there's food, there's shelter. You know, we have each other. So like that's always been the way I've thought. The worst case is always what you make it. So like, you know, I maybe that's because I've come from situations that were worst case situations, that I see now that even in those situations, like you can make something from it. You just have to continue to be positive and learn from your situations, and tell yourself that your situation is not who you are, and that no matter what, as long as you just know who you are, you'll get through.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that message a lot. So I know you're huge into health, to fitness, stuff like that. So what would you say to somebody who's like, maybe they don't like cardio, or maybe they don't like strength training, or maybe they haven't found something they really enjoy that they can use to kind of like ease the sanity, or ease their, I guess, mind during like this time. And like, what would you say to people that are maybe trying to find something that they can kind of lean on in this time to not go crazy? Because I mean, for you, is that the fitness and the health and nutrition? Is that kind of your saving grace?
Yeah. I mean, I have to move my body. I have to. Like, that's why I can't work out at home. I tried, and I've always been somebody who's gone to the gym. That was always my escape for myself. And working out at home while, you know, kids are jumping in and trying to do it with you, which is cute and all, but that's my time. So I'm very, very, very selfish with that time. And if I can't zone out and do it myself with the equipment that I need and that I'm used to, it's just not the same. I mean, I'll do it. I'm not going to love it, and it might be half-assed, but I'm going to do it. But I made adjustments. Like, I started running more. I was running a few miles a day, even though I'm not a runner, but I was like, I got to get out. It was something I could do by myself. It was challenging, so that was cool. And then going for those long walks in the morning, again, like, I know people are busy. They have young kids. whatever, they're tired, but like if it's important to you, you will find a way. And then I had a friend who had a gym that they were letting me come to it, and then I was no longer able to go there, and then I had another, that same friend put the gym in the storage unit, and I've been going there every morning. It's like 35 degrees and I'm cold and I'm in my pajamas, but I'm doing it and I love it, and I almost like it pushes me harder, so it's kind of new and exciting and challenging. I'm not saying I want to do it forever, but for this time being, I'm going to make it a point to be there every day at 6:30, because if I don't, nobody in my house will survive.
Right.
So it's that time's important, and I'll be there for sure. So definitely that, eating clean, again, I snack sometimes. It is what it is, but eating clean. I've been having my green smoothies every day. I've been, cooking every day because I'm home. I'm prepping everything. And so, I mean, just eating well and all that stuff makes everything else easier.
Yeah. Yeah, I know it sounds kind of cliche, but I feel like that's something that I'd encourage people to do, is like take this time to learn a new skill or to find out stuff that you enjoy, because I feel like, there, like we talked about earlier, there's really no excuse anymore to not get that work done that you've been talking about, to not like focus more on your business that you didn't have time for because you were working, in your business.
Right.
To find stuff that you enjoy, that you can take out of this with some new skill or some new knowledge. And like I said, it sounds cliche, but it's true. Like you see those posts that if you're not developing a new skill or finding out, a passion, then this time is wasted. I feel like that's true. So I would say people like take this time to maybe research something that you have been interested in looking into, understand more about the health, understand more about yourself, whatever the case is. So I don't know, you just,
Yeah, I think again, learning as much as you can so that when you come back motivated, because everybody's going to be more motivated to get back to work, because you're going to be so excited that you can go make a living and see the people that you used to see. Like, I was a hairstylist, and I have a lot of friends who are hairstylists who own salons that are making zero income right now. And I have, somebody that I know just opened a salon literally the week before they shut everything down in the city. And that's really hard. And I watch their stories and I see how upset they are and how they're struggling. But I also see them, and they're bad women, and they're strong, and they're out there like every day, like going in to do curbside selling of products, and they're learning new things, and they're showing new tricks on hair, on like they're not rolling over and quitting and saying poor me. Like, it's tough, it's hard, but they're learning more things. They're watching cool videos online to learn new techniques and skills and trades, so that when they are back at work, they're the best. They're coming back better.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what do you think is going to be the biggest kind of large scale change that we'll see? Whether it's what do you think?
I don't know. I saw an article the other day where they were saying that handshaking should no longer be a thing, and that just really annoyed me, because you can take away a lot of things, but the human connection is something that I don't think should ever be taken away. Because without that, you might as well be sick, honestly. Like, if you can't sit with your neighbor and have a friendly conversation or shake a new person's hand, like, I just don't understand. So I'm hoping that after this, the changes aren't separation. The changes are connection.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, I'm so tired. We got to stand 6 feet apart, and I understand that that's what we have to do right now. A lot of people are dying, a lot of people are sick, and a lot of people are working hard and putting their lives at risk. And I'm not making that not sound important, because it is. But I think that when this is all done, this is certainly something that people can learn from. And it doesn't have to mean that we can't have a connection with each other, or we have to worry about the person next to us coughing, or worry about hand sanitizing 24 hours a day. This isn't the first pandemic. It probably will not be the last, but it doesn't mean that we have to, give up hope on, humanity and our connection with each other.
Absolutely. That's really well said. Like that's how I feel. I feel like I'd rather be sick than not hug my best friend when I see him, or give someone new a handshake and a smile. Like
I
that.
mean, it's lonely. You can't live like that. You can't live a lonely life. That leads to illness.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that that's like a lot of the big thing that is kind of not, and we talked about it a little bit earlier, but it's kind of not understood that like there is other things that other freedoms and other important things that are not as worth sacrificing. Granted, like when this is all said and done, because I think a lot of the concern right now is pretty warranted. But like
Yeah,
it's all said and done, I think
absolutely.
there's a lot of freedoms that people shouldn't give up on and shouldn't feel like they need to be less connected, kind of like you were saying. I think it's very well said. I definitely agree with that.
I think that they need to embrace uh, the things that they miss doing more. You know, instead of like, oh, this is just me running out to do this, be thankful. Oh my God, thank God I get to go out into this farmer's market, or thank God I get to go to lunch with friends, or thank God I get to take this trip. Thank you for letting me to just like go for a walk without feeling like I need to cover myself up. Like just being thankful for the little things, because those little things clearly, as are being shown now, can be taken away very quickly.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think like now it's so important to be grateful like more than ever. Like personally, I've been waking up and literally just like I feel catch myself all times of the day being like, oh my God, so grateful for this and that and this. I just feel
Right.
like right now, like think about all the things you're not able to do. Like there's so much to be grateful for. I like it. And again, like people have it much worse, but you know, it doesn't matter. There's always so much to be grateful for.
It is, and it is good that, like, you know, like they were saying in the beginning, it was just kind of nice for everybody to take a step back. I think everybody embraced that initially, like, oh, I don't have to rush into work. I don't have to rush to these sporting games. I don't have to rush to take my kids to school. I don't have to rush to do this. And that was like a breath of fresh air for a lot of people. I think it was a good thing for people to just kind of take a breath and calm down and take a few things off their plate. Now I feel like we're getting a little antsy and we want our normalcy back. But I'm hoping that our normalcy comes with a little bit of new tendencies, like you said, to be grateful for, you know, the norm.
Yeah, yeah, it'll be really interesting to see. Um, I guess also, and I know we did this last time. Maybe you have something different, but you know, what would be one major piece of advice that you could give to people, like life advice that you've learned? And maybe you did learn it recently through the quarantine, but what's like a good piece of advice that you can leave to stick with people?
Uh, I guess that what I am trying to live by now, I heard this really great saying on a podcast recently, was to live little. And I thought that was so beautiful. And it's just two words, but I think that, you know, this is teaching us that we need to scale back and live little, and that, you know, all these things that we constantly are throwing at ourselves all day long are completely unnecessary, because we're all doing fine without those things.
Uh,
And just to kind of scale back and look at what's important to you and make that your priority. And again, that's something I'm working on. I'm not there, but it's something that I replay in my head all the time, just those two words, whenever I get caught up in myself, or I feel myself stressed or rushed, or, you know, even just little things like wanting to get things that I don't necessarily need just for the sake of having them. I just keep telling myself, live little. So if anybody, you know, if that helps anybody, or, you know, lightens the load on anybody, I mean, that's amazing. I hope that, you know, that helps somebody, because it's kind of helping me as I kind of learn to use that.
yeah, no, I love that. Live little. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. So let's see. So next big steps with Harvested. Anything to plug, you know, as far as Harvested goes? I know you guys have been doing awesome things. Like you've been donating, like you had people donate, and you were providing meals for people who didn't have meals.
Yeah.
You gave meals to the fire station so all those dudes could eat, and women. So what else is any big steps that you're looking to take, or any news with Harvested?
I mean, honestly, right now we don't have anything new. We just want to get back on our feet and back to doing what we were doing. You know, I did do the fundraiser a few weeks ago, and it was amazing. We raised like $1,000 for people for groceries. You know, we delivered food to somebody in the city who lost their job, who lives alone. He's in his 60s. He doesn't have a car. We delivered food to two single parents that one was living at her sister's house, who her sister has 5 kids, and The other one lives alone with her 7-year-old son. And I mean, those are the things that I'm tough and I'm hard and I'm stubborn as hell and I'm pain in the butt sometimes, but nobody can ever say that I don't care, because that truly is like my favorite thing to do, is just give back to people. And when people feel like they're not being cared for or heard, like any chance I can, I'm gonna give back. So this week we're giving free meals to a friend of mine who's a nurse and who's amazing. I think we'll kind of go through that. I think what I'm gonna have her do is maybe send me a name of somebody else, kind of like a chain reaction where I donate to her, and then maybe she's got a friend that she knows who's also a nurse who is struggling. And so I think right now that's kind of what we're going to do, is like some free meals for people who are out there doing services every day, putting their lives and their families' lives at risk.
Yeah, you've always, and nobody can take that away. I mean, that's something that there's, second to none that you do is care for people and give back. And so that's really why I love having people like yourself on the podcast, is because they really get like their fulfillment and their love from helping other people. So I really think it's great, everything you do. And that's why my family, we don't hesitate to help support you, because you're a great person, but also like you're doing all the right things with your business and everything. So, yeah.
I always wish I could do more. When I drop off food to somebody, I want to go back and drop off more. And I just can't, if I could, I would, but honestly, through the support, all my customers are amazing. They're used to what we do. They're used to me, asking for those donations, or, and I don't want to bother people all the time asking for money, because I know how hard it is and I know how people are struggling. But like, any chance I get to give food, or, I mean, whatever I can. We've been at food pantries. We've donated school supplies. Like, if you don't support me for anything else, log on to our page and just like, let us know that you'd love to help with the next time we do a food drive or something like that. Like, I could really, as much as I would love the business, I could really care less if you order my food. Just like, go on there and help me with my next like donation. Really, I mean, I can't do it without the help of you guys.
Yeah. Well, that's good to know, I guess. And especially for people, like if you can't order, then if you want to support, there's other ways to support. That's great.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So where can people find your website, social media platforms, all that?
Yep. So we have Instagram, and that's just at Harvestin Prep. And then we're on Facebook, which we're not really on Facebook, but nobody's really on Facebook anyways. And then our website's harvestinprep.com, and that's just where you would do your normal meals and orderings. And if you have any questions, shoot me an email, DM me on Instagram. Again, I said I don't understand why people do these things, but like I just said, I'm always here to help people. Yeah. And I may not understand, I will never turn you away, and I will never make you feel like your question's not valued, and I'll do whatever I can to help you. So if you have questions, whatever, like I'm open. So, any support we get is much appreciated.
I love it. Cool. Anything else did you want to add to wrap up?
I mean, other than just thanking you and all that you've done, I mean, every time I see you, I tell you, you're young, you're doing a lot of amazing things. Post yourself out partying and going crazy. All you do is post positivity and trying to get people to just rise to the occasion. So just like a quick thank you to you.
I appreciate that. That means a lot. And again, thank you so much for coming on. It's always good to talk to you. So anytime you want to hop on the podcast, have a conversation.
I'm always available.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate those words. Awesome.
All right. See ya.
Signing out.
Bye.
You did it. You made it to the end of the podcast. Thank you guys for either watching or listening. Truly means a lot. And don't forget to go check Vanessa out at harvestinprep.com. Check her out, Harvestin Prep on Instagram. And don't forget to stay locked into the social media. Powerful 0NE, Powerful 1. And then powerful-1.com. We got the shop up. Last thing to plug up, I want to go ahead and offer out to anybody out there who wants to get on the podcast. Shoot me a DM if you guys feel like you fit the description of what it means to be Powerful 1. then shoot me a DM. Let's get you on a podcast. Hit me up, guys, and stay safe. Thank you again for listening or watching.